If you had to land a high ticket client right now and you had no following, you had essentially no email list, you couldn't run paid traffic, what would you do? Well, this is exactly what I would do, and it's actually what I helped one of our clients do the other day. The client came to me and they said, John, I have this brand new incredible offer and I don't know how to market it. What should I do? And I said, well, I wouldn't worry about social media, I wouldn't worry about email, and I wouldn't run paid traffic yet. Instead, I would do this. What is this? I would go after my Dream 100. And they looked at me absolutely puzzled. They're like, what is a Dream 100? And that's what I'm about to explain to you. But before I go into the Dream 100, one thing that you should have nailed before you jump into this Dream 100 training is what I like to call a hard irresistible offer. Now, I'm going to link up in the description below a training where I break down how to adjust your offer. Make sure you've watched that training before you go implement the things I'm about to teach you. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of sales calls and you're not going to make sales. So you want to have the right audience and you also want to have the right offer. All right. So the Dream 100 is an idea that there are 100 people right now that are in your network that can connect you with anybody that you need to essentially solve any of your problems. And it ultimately is a strategy that allows you to understand that you don't necessarily need to run paid traffic. You don't need to do organic marketing. If you just took care of your Dream 100, they would open up every door that you need to essentially fill your business with your ideal clients. That being said, before you can understand what your Dream 100 is, you have to establish an important concept. I believe that you should be a problem to solution business, not a niche business. Now, niche businesses have a tendency, and that's a loose word. So instead of saying niche business, I don't believe you should build your business around a person. You should build it around a problem that you solve, and it helps many different types of people. That being said, when I work with a business or even my own business, what I like to do is establish a narrow audience, a general audience, and a wide audience. Let's say we were a high ticket health coaching business. I might establish my narrow audience as executives. My general audience, slightly wider, could be business owners. And then my widest audience would be high performers. And you can see that if you're the right type of person for us, you're almost going to fit guaranteed into one of those audiences, whether it be narrow, executive, general, business owner, or high performer, wide. You will identify in one of those. So instead of saying we work with a specific type of person, instead we solve a specific type of problem. And the way that I typically call bullshit on this for most online coaches, they're like, I work with blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, sure you do. What happens if that person comes to work with you and they're not a nurse? Would you turn them down? Would you not take their money? They're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well then, exactly. You work with other people beyond nurses. Now, nurses have a tendency to buy from you, but what you do is you ultimately solve a specific problem. The second side of this is when you make this shift, instead of being the magician that has to come up with a new trick every day for that one person, you ultimately now understand that you only have to create one specific trick, one specific routine, because you understand how to bring different people into your world. And so it allows your business to be much more scalable because you're not solving many different problems for that type of person. You have to master solving one problem for many different types of people. It becomes actually an easier business to scale. Anyways, I digress. Let's jump back in. So you've established your audiences. Now we have to establish the Dream 100. To do so, the way we do this is we're going to take your phone, your Rolodex. And what I like to do is I want to build my Dream 100 in two types of buckets. The first bucket is the most important bucket. That's the bucket you should be nurturing and staying in touch with for surely every 30 days. These are the type of people that you grab lunch with, you grab coffee with, or you randomly just shoot them a text to see how they're doing. Now they're called connectors. Connectors not only fit into your ideal audience, they most likely have a very strong Rolodex or connection themselves to introduce you into a whole world where more of your ideal audience lives. Let me give you an example. I have a friend of mine who is a agent for professional athletes. Let's say I had a service where I worked with high performing athletes and other high performing individuals. That individual would be a connector because their Rolodex could connect me with hundreds of individuals that I would love to work with. Those are connectors. So make your list of connectors right now. The next step is make a list of the individuals that aren't connectors, but they still fit into one of the 3 tiers of the audiences we just laid out, whether it be narrow, general, wide. At this point, you should have roughly 100 names. Easy. From there, you're going to begin to reach out to these individuals. And the way you do this is you're going to first prioritize your connectors. And I'm about to share with you the exact script I would use, or this other individual could use. And again, the results are staggering. Of the 17 reach outs, 16 responses, 12 book calls, and already a sale. So here's the script. It's, hey, name, wondering if I could get your help, and I wanted to run something by you real quick. Send. And now you wait. What's important about this is you've established their name, which means it's less likely to be a bulk message, and you're establishing that you need their help, and it's a quick help. You're not asking them to come buy your product, you're asking them for help, and people love to help. When you look at Maslow's hierarchies of needs, them getting to help you allows their status to upgrade, which is a highly probable then text message that they would respond to. So that's why we write it that way. Message 2 now is what you're going to have to customize for your business. I'm going to read the message I wrote for this company. Understand that it most likely will not work for you. This is what you need to adjust. So this is where they basically pitch their new offer without pitching their offer. I just created a new protocol specifically for elite level executives, athletes, and entrepreneurs. It's done by physiological optimization. I want you to think gut health, hormone toxins, blood panels. People that know the impact that having optimal health has on their performance at work and ultimately in their life. Send. And that message right there is what I call the meat and potatoes. That basically establishes everything that you need help on, except for you haven't asked how they can help you. This is where we now send the next text message. Before our program goes live to the marketplace, I'm looking for just a few more people to go through the last version. I was wondering if you knew of any fellow high achievers or high performers that might be interested. And what's interesting about that sentence, wondering if you knew of any, and then we attach the identity, fellow, and then we insert those avatar types, high achievers or high performers. Again, that goes back to the audience levels that we talked about, widest being used there. And that's ultimately the DM script. It's incredible how simple and straightforward this strategy is. Now, we would work through our connectors, and we would work through our Dream 100 list. And what's been incredible so far is that business, the connectors are now reaching out to all their network to connect. This individual, this coach for us, could completely shut off their organic marketing right now, shut off all their paid, shut off all their emails, and this simple strategy will most likely fill their sales calendar for the next 90 days. And I shared it with you for absolutely free. So here's your homework. Step 1, you have to watch the soft versus hard offer training. Step 2 is develop your own Dream 100 list and write out your script. And step 3, take action. Hopefully this helps. I'm John Swanson, here to help you scale your business while keeping it simple, fun, and profitable.